Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I know who I am, I know God's plan, and I'll follow Him instead. I believe in the Savior Jesus Christ, I'll honor His name.
In our house, we just use a simple frosting spatula. You could use metal or plastic. It doesn't really matter what it's made of. But the key is to have something thin, so you can get down in the edges. And what you do is you just simply slide it down into the jar, moving the beans around to get any air bubbles that may be trapped underneath the beans to come up. You don't want to have air bubbles trapped in your processing because it allows for germs to fester in there. So we just try to come down and get any air bubbles that might be in there. And it also mixes up the onion a little bit. As it processes in the pressure cooker, it's going to boil a lot and the onion will get mixed all around. As you can see, we've removed the air bubbles from the tops of those jars, and we'll finish off with the last two jars. That's a key step in processing, is to get all that excess air out. Okay, once we've removed all the air bubbles, we take a clean rag with clean with just water, and we wipe the tops of the jars to make sure any grains of salt or any bean particles or onion particles, anything that could get in the way of a tight seal, we make sure all of that is wiped off. Then we take a lid and a ring, and you notice the lid has a rubber seal around the edges, and you always want to use brand new lids for processing. You never reuse the lids. You can reuse the ring, the part that holds the lid down, but never reuse the lid once it's been processed. You just simply put the lid and the ring together and screw them onto the top of the jars, making sure you just do it finger tight. Don't screw it down too tight because you'll cause bubbles to raise in the rubber seal. So you just tighten them hand tight, and then these jars will be ready to go into the canner. Okay, we're ready to put our jars into the canner. What we've done, we put the lids on, and as we put the jars into the canner, we want to ensure that the jars are not touching each other so that heat can go in and around each glass jar. We want to ensure that they're on top of the metal spacer that goes in the bottom, and we'll talk about that more. We put them all in, as I mentioned earlier, 7 quarts will fit in the canner of this size. And then we put 2 quarts of water in, and we use warm water. We put warm water in the bean jars, and we put warm water in here so that they are about the same temperature when they start. And then we put the lid on. Make sure that the seal is tight, and then we latch it down tight. This is a weight that we use. This regulates the amount of pressure that we're allowed, that the canner will take, and we put that over the hole. And this pot will be ready to go in just as soon as we get the black beans ready. So we'll let this sit aside for just a few minutes.
Alright, so we hope all you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about canning. This is a great way, an economic way, to increase the amount of food you have in your year's supply.
It really is an economical way to keep food in your supply that you'll actually use and rotate through often. It costs pennies on the jar to produce this. A big bag of beans you can buy for just a couple of dollars, whereas a can of already processed beans in the store will cost you $1 just for a small can. So keep that in mind. Take up canning and you will save tons of money for your food budget. But always remember to follow the safety guidelines that come with your tools, such as the booklet that comes with your pressure canner. Read that and make sure you follow the guidelines so you produce safe food for your family and have fun cooking.
And also, one other resource you may want to look into is a lot of wards these days have home canning specialists or emergency preparedness specialists, and they may have more information like official church literature on canning instructions or maybe even canning recipes. If you have any questions, please contact us at mormontalk@gmail.com, and we hope to see you again on The Mormon Chef.